So now I'd like to introduce our next speaker, which is our keynote speaker, Debra Mrock. She uses the principles from her doctoral studies in transformational leadership and learning to empower others. Her communications, sociology, and education degrees help overcome and use the past power to empower the future. She is proud to be an international speaker, workshop leader for Blissful Living, Disrupt Aging Classroom, AARP, workshops changing the narrative, Optimal Show Me Summit, ASA Aging Summits, and International Women's Conference. Dr. Debra Mrock will present False Horizons, how to identify and overcome them to live your life to the fullest. Let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Debra Mrock.
Okay, yesterday I was talking about false horizons. We're going to get a little more into it today. All right, we were talking about Jack Mezzle. He's what I based him and the learning theory on for my dissertation. And he's all about transformational change. And what that is seeing ourselves different in the world. We've talked yesterday about challenging our past. And I'm going to actually get a little further into what I meant by that. And I'm actually going to demonstrate those principles for you. All right. False horizon. I looked it up. It turns out that it's an aeronautical term. And it happens when a pilot is looking through the glass and not using the instruments. And so they get a wrong impression on how to land, particularly. If you look at the bottom slice, you see one plane's coming in right and the other one isn't. One is using the instruments and using truth and clarity, and one is just kind of going, oh yeah, I think this is it. The problem is they can crash and burn. And when we don't use the right instruments, and this is where Dr. Mezzle was getting into, if we don't use the right instruments and look at things in the right way, we probably won't crash and burn, but we probably won't be doing and living our best. Okay, so I am going to demonstrate it for you using my life. 5-year-old child, beautiful summer day, playing with my best friend Sharon. Out comes the bully in the neighborhood. He goes, I know a secret about you. And I'm like, huh? Bully, go away. And then he looks at me and he says, I found out you're adopted. I'm 5. I don't even know what that word means. My parents hadn't told me. And then he tells me, well, that means that the people who gave birth to you threw you away like garbage. It gives me every time. And you are dumb, stupid, and ugly, and that's why they did it. 5-year-old bully. Wow. Impactful. But it caused my first false horizon. I became devastated. I cried for weeks. I'll get back to why. A few years down the road, 2nd grade, have fevers, have lack of oxygen, did not get taken to the hospital by my parents because of the 5-year-old incident. They were afraid to leave me out of their sight. So I go back to school, and things that were easy for me became so difficult, so hard. And I was struggling with math, spelling, and grammar. I couldn't, my brain just wouldn't get around those subjects. I still can't spell at all. I mean, I'm always asking people, how do you spell that? But here I am doing this, and she made fun of us, literally made fun of us, tacked our papers up if we had a C- or under, and had the kids laugh at us. Wow. Another false horizon. Sometimes she would just throw us in the hallway because she didn't think we were teachable. Another step over. College. Get called into a professor's office. He said, I want to tell you something. I think you have a brilliant mind. You're innovative. You know, you come up with ideas that nobody else comes up with. And I thought, finally, somebody recognizes something good in me. Wrong. He then looks at me and says, it's just a shame that no one will ever hear anything you think about or anything you know because you can't do spelling and grammar. I believed him. Can you believe that? I believed him. Well, step over. Because of all this coming down the road, I entered into a marriage with a man I shouldn't have done. He was a pastor. I thought, oh, well, you know, I had some weird feelings about him. I wasn't quite sure about him. Turns out he's very abusive. He was a liar. He destroyed people in our church. He destroyed me. He destroyed my family. I finally got out when I saw what he was doing with the kids. I got brave enough. But I'm going through all this. So let's go back here. Why'd they do it? 5-year-old. I wasn't wanted. So I'm already set up for that choice down here. I'm not smart enough. I'm dumb. Well, I was set up from here to believe her. Because, after all, I didn't even know who my parents were. Here, I'm told again, not smart enough. Going all the way back to here, this little child. Here, that second grader. Here. I believed the things he said about me, that I was no good, that I was sloppy, that I was sick all the time. I was sick. I had stage 3 cancer. I felt bad for it. Felt like I had to apologize for it. I just found out, believe this or not, my daughter, he told her, your mom's lazy again, right? That's when I had cancer. I was set up to believe it because all the way back here, added to by second grade, added to by college. Now I'm here. Well, I did break away from all that. But it was not an easy thing to do, and it took a lot of work and a lot of hard times because I didn't think I was all that. When I finally got out, I started seeing things a little different, but I did have to take therapy. And my therapy was Dr. Messel's principle. And my therapist really didn't do much work. I did all of it. But she would just say, work on it. And I sat over here going, it was that kind of a therapy. But what it did is it helped me to get to this place. Because when I started challenging that and these incidences, and she let me pick what I wanted. So, of course, I picked the little girl over here, right? And guess what I found out? Yeah, my birth parents didn't want me. I found them later. They didn't want me. One died, and the other one was really messed up. But you know what? My adopted parents wanted me. They loved me. There was my truth that I missed. And then I worked over here on the second grader, and I realized, yeah, I got learning disabilities, but it doesn't have to stop me. There's ways around everything. Wow. And then I started brainstorming how to do that. And then I got here to the college professor, and you know what I thought? What an idiot. Look what I'm doing right now. I'm talking to you. I'm explaining. I don't have to write it. You don't have to read my bad spelling. I can talk to people. I can hire an editor when I have a book coming out. I can hire an editor. Again, a lie. And this situation, well, we're all still working on that one. But I know that I'm more. I have a great husband now. He's an incredible man. I've known him since I was 2 years old. We got back together, and life is good. All because I didn't go off that false horizon. But I did for too many years. I wasted too many years. And so my mission in life is going out and telling people about this. So, what do? He says, in order to change, we got to change the way we think, and we got to look at critical for reflection. And that's kind of what I did in my therapy, but it's something else we can do now. What we have to do is look at it and say, why am I acting like this? Okay, that's the reason. Well, is that even true? Probably not. I think I'm looking at this wrong. And just really examine our actions and examine our thoughts, because it all goes back to how we processed kindergarten, second grade, college, some of our life. And when we can do that, some interesting things happen. One, we can achieve more than what we ever believed. But I'm telling you, the one thing that you're going to get is peace. Peace cannot be overrated. When we have peace in our hearts, our souls, when we can look at things and take time to analyze them, slow down, and not just react. Don't get me wrong, I still react sometimes, okay? I'm a woman, okay? I can't help it. But, yeah, you know. But bottom line, we can find that peace when we stop. Okay, this slide I want to end with because it's powerful. It's a little bigger, I just couldn't fit it all in. But this was written for parents of autistic children to talk to them in a positive way. But I've had people ask when I've done these to put them on Facebook. It's a free slide, so people can use them. And I said, yeah, put it out there. Because you see, we got to rewrite our stories, and we got to rewrite what we tell ourselves. Too often, we tell ourselves this side, and look at this side. It's all bad stuff. The first one's actually demanding. But for every one word, there's 2 or 3 or 4 positive words off the same thing. So we can listen to somebody say, hey, you're too demanding, or we can thank them for telling us we're too demanding and say, you are correct. I have principles. I believe what I believe, and I stand firm on it. We can rewrite our stories. And we should also use this with our children, with our friends, with our spouses, and not just jump to the negative words, but realize that there is another side. And when we can encourage ourselves and we can encourage our children, our brothers, sisters, our parents even, and our spouses with the positive, they'll start changing. They'll start looking at themselves different. And when we start looking at ourselves different, that's when that peace starts to come. That's when the power starts. I want to thank you so much for allowing me to be here and to speak to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Debra. That was actually really insightful. I learned a lot from there. So I think turning a negative into a positive is always something that we need to do in order to cultivate a positive mindset, shall we say, and then we can reach great things. So thank you very much.
I'm Dr. Debra Mrock, and I'm here at the Global Conference. It has been absolutely amazing. The quality of the speakers is superb. The organization has treated us with total respect. I feel very honored. I feel very supported. They do everything in the highest way possible, and I have loved every single second of the 3 days that I've been here. I just encourage everyone, if you get a chance, to view our podcasts, to come to the future events. You won't regret it. Thank you.